What's good, everybody? It's your boy, the We're back with another video. Good lord. That was terrible. I did say that I wanted to look back at my preseason predictions, and that's what we're looking at right now. I'm going to full screen this so it's a little bit easier for everybody to see. I'm hoping that it's not too jumbled up, but these were my preseason predictions. I'm going to go through I'm going to go through these, see how I'm feeling, how it looks, like how close I am to some of these being right or wrong. Obviously, some of the stuff we won't know until midway through March, heading into April, them types of things. But it's still fun to go back and look at what I was thinking preseason. At least for me, it's fun to go back and look and see what I was confident in preseason, what I'm confident in now going into March, and yeah. So let's get into it. My National Player of the Year pick was Lauren Betts, and I was one of the people that thought Lauren Betts should have won it last year. Not to say that Juju Watkins didn't deserve it, because I think she deserved it as well. I think it was really close. I just think Lauren Betts had done so much last year, and she was almost, I don't think she was carrying a load, but what she was doing offensively and defensively was so important to what UCLA was doing. Obviously, when you look at Juju Watkins and what she did offensively and defensively as well, she's also an elite defender. Obviously, the case could have been made for either. So coming into this season, I was thinking, Lauren Betts is going to have an even easier route to doing that, especially offensively. Defensively, she's still been phenomenal, but offensively, I was like, okay, she's probably going to get easier looks because of the players around her, and she kind of has, but I don't think she's put up the numbers to be in that conversation. I think at this point, it's probably Michaela Blakes, obviously Sarah Strong, AZ Fudd. Still have a conversation. People could argue Madison Booker, Olivia Miles. There's a few players that you could argue, and I wouldn't, be mad at. But I don't think that one is going to be correct. I didn't do all of the awards because, frankly, I didn't have enough space on this thing for all that. And it's really hard to go and try to not guess, but try to predict every award, especially when it's college basketball and there's so many different outlets that choose. So I was just like, I'll just do National Player of the Year. But I still think Lauren Betts has been great. I still think she has a really good chance of being an All-American. I would be surprised if she wasn't. I mean, you got the second best team in the country, and they've only lost one game. She's been super valuable on offense and defense, potentially a National Defensive Player of the Year again, back-to-back years. But again, Michaela Blakes, she's been phenomenal. So she's definitely in the conversation. There's something down here that I am definitely wrong about, because at least one of those players would be coming off for her to be on the list, but we'll get to that. My Sweet 16 picks. This is what I'm most interested in, because some of these were based off okay, I feel 100% confident in these teams going, and then some of these are these are the teams that I would like to see go, and I feel also had the talent to go. They would need things to go the right way, which a few of these teams I talked about on my past video about teams that could play spoiler in March. Obviously, you see the first 5 to 6, UConn, South Carolina, Texas, UCLA, LSU. Those are the ones that are always, well, I don't want to say always, but those are the ones coming into the season I think everybody would have had on their list. You have Oklahoma, who I still feel really good about. Michigan, who I still feel good about despite the loss to Iowa. Iowa State, without Addie Brown, I don't feel as confident in. So that would be one that I would change. Duke, preseason I felt great. First couple weeks into the season I felt terrible, and now I feel better again. So they for a while looked like a bad choice. they were 3-6 and it was looking bad, but they went on a 17-game winning streak. They lost the other day or yesterday to Clemson on a game winner. It happens. It is what it is. That was only their first loss in the ACC, so it's all right. Minnesota, I was hoping Mara Braun was a little bit more healthy this season, and they were able to really get on a roll, but they're ranked as we speak, so they still have a good chance of getting in and making some noise. Just depends on who their matchup is. I would say the same thing for Princeton. Princeton is now ranked again, and for them, I would say the same thing as I said for Minnesota. It'll be matchup based if they're able to get to a Sweet 16, but I like their chances of being in that. Tennessee is more based off of just talent. They have the talent. to be a Sweet 16 team. Sweet 16 team is that talent showing up on a game-to-game basis. And it's not to say that they haven't in SEC play, because I think for a while in SEC play it did. And then when the talent or when the games got bigger, there's a few games that they've met the moment, but there's a few that they haven't met the moment, and that scares me a little bit. Washington, I feel good about them because of their defense. And this was also me hoping that Elda Dean was more healthy and was having the type of season that she's had, or the type of season that she had last year, and she hasn't had that yet. But again, like I said in the last video, she has time to be able to potentially make a move and get back to where she was. Maryland, this was before the multiple injuries that they had to Caitlin Schmeichel. Brittany Daniel wasn't coming back. That was somebody who I thought would be coming back at some point. They also lost Leia Bartown really early. So they're pretty undermanned, so it'll be hard for them to make a Sweet 16, but they have the talent to do so, even being undermanned. I don't know if I would bet on them making it, but I still feel pretty good about their chances depending on who they play and where they end up being seated. USC, this one I don't feel very good about, not going to lie. I felt pretty good about it because I was hoping that there was a jump offensively from Kennedy Smith, and I don't want to say there hasn't been, but I think I just put the expectations for what I saw her being able to do offensively a little too high. But Jazzy Davison's been everything that they've wanted to be and more. So when you have a player like that, there is always an opportunity and always a chance that they give you a game or two, and if you inside of that game or two or within that game or two, if you can get the other players like a London Jones to step up and give you 18 to 20, you never know what'll happen. Ole Miss is another team. This was really me just giving credit to Coach Yo because, since she's been there and they've been winning, they've been in the Sweet 16. They beat Stanford a couple years ago. Last year, I don't remember who they beat last year to get to the Sweet 16, but they've been to the Sweet 16 a couple years in a row, so they feel good. So that program, I give Coach Yo credit. Now, as far as how I feel about them, on the floor game wise, I don't feel as confident in them as I might have before the season. Just because the half court offense is always kind of a struggle. It's similar to how I feel about Duke. I know Duke and Ole Miss are gonna have great defenses, and they're gonna make the game, I don't want to say ugly, but they're gonna muck the game up a little bit. And if they're not able to do that, they typically aren't able to keep up with the teams that are able to score at the highest rates in the country, and those are the teams that you're going to play at this time of the season. So, for UConn, feel phenomenal. South Carolina feel phenomenal. Texas feel phenomenal. UCLA feel phenomenal. LSU feel phenomenal. Oklahoma, I feel great. Michigan, I'll say phenomenal. I feel phenomenal about them. Iowa State, don't feel good. Duke, I feel pretty good. Minnesota, I feel so-so. Princeton, I feel pretty good. Tennessee, it depends on what Tennessee we get, because their first game they could play great, their second game they could play down or up to the talent that they're playing, or to the team they're playing against. So it's hard to say. If I had to go based off of today, I would say maybe not. Maybe I don't feel as great about them because this doesn't have a Vanderbilt. This doesn't have a TCU. This doesn't have Michigan State. Yeah, I would definitely throw Vanderbilt in there. There's not a Kentucky in here either. So there's a couple teams that would have to drop out and some teams that would have to jump in. So if I had to take some teams out of this list, I would take Iowa State out. I would take USC out. I don't really want to take the teams out that I really, really. Some of these teams I just want to see, not necessarily I expect them to be there. Iowa State, USC, Tennessee. I'm gonna take those only out for now. I'm gonna put in Vanderbilt. I'm gonna put in TCU, and I'm gonna put in. Oh man, Kentucky or Michigan State. Oh, man. I'm going to go... Damn. I'm going to go Michigan State. And then if I were to take out another team, probably Washington, and I'd put in Kentucky. Yeah, man, that's actually pretty interesting. Let me see if there's any other teams that I'm not thinking of that aren't on this list that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head that should be in the conversation at the least. Like I don't have Iowa on here. They could be a Sweet 16 team. I don't have Ohio State. I don't have West Virginia. I don't have Baylor, Texas Tech, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama. I don't have Notre Dame. Yeah, I feel, besides the 3 to 4 that I switched out, I feel pretty good about, like, if I go, like, 10 or 11 out of 16 on this, I feel pretty good about, what I was thinking coming into the season. Final 4 picks, honestly, I don't think those change. I think those are still the same for me. Based off what I've seen this season, I think 2 teams that could change that could change the Final 4 for me would be Michigan. Maybe I'll say 3. Michigan, LSU, and Vanderbilt. I would, in terms of confidence level in that, I would probably go Michigan, and then like LSU and Vandy are tied. I feel good about Vanderbilt. It's just I'm gonna try to do like a video, or I'm gonna try to do some videos going into the tournament that are like specific to teams. Maybe like the top 15, the top 20, or like the top 4 seeds. I don't know for sure because I'm not gonna be able to go through the whole thing, but there's a few players on certain teams that like them going to a Sweet 16 or going to a Final 4 or contingent on. Like for LSU, I still think it's Malaysia Wiley, and I think it's Flau'jae Johnson as well. I think if Flau'jae Johnson plays good, the team normally follows suit, and I think Malaysia Wiley, if she's able to do what she does, something that she's always done in big games, when she's played well, has just given a team a jolt. Like there's 3 to 4 plays each game that she can make that just change the momentum of a game. So she's capable of doing that against any team in the country. So that's one thing that I look at. For Vanderbilt, I look at Aubrey Galvin because we know what Michaela Blake is going to do, and we're pretty confident in Justine Passat shooting really well from the 3-point line. Sasha Washington is going to do all the little things and make sure that she's getting the rebounds and getting the extra plays and things like that. But that's why I'm looking at Aubrey Galvin, because there's been games where she's struggling and there's been games where she was great, like against Texas. And if they can get that version of Aubrey Galvin with Michaela Blake's, they definitely have a chance to get into a Final 4. They beat Texas, they beat LSU. I think they just beat Kentucky again. So when you look at that, that's three really good wins. They beat Michigan as well. So they should have a lot of confidence going into a tournament because they've beaten some of the teams that they would potentially have to go through to get there. But if I had to like bet on the Final 4, I think the 4 would stay the same. I think my 4 would stay the same, and this is probably, I think Texas could still end up being a 1 seed depending on how they finish the season, how they play in the conference tournament. I think they would still get that love of being a 1 seed, since didn't Vanderbilt lose to somebody after they beat Texas, or maybe it was before? I can't remember for sure. But I would still go there with my Final 4. The All-Americans always tough because it's literally you're just picking the 5 best players. Not even 5 best players, but you're picking the best player at each position. So I would still say Olivia Miles. AZ Fudd versus Michaela Blakes is super, super tough. So maybe you go AZ Fudd, Michaela Blakes, or Michaela Blakes, AZ Fudd. But it's damn, then Madison Booker's not in it. And then you have Sarah Strong. You have Lauren Betts. I still think that those are the top. Those are the top post players. I would say Sarah Strong, Lauren Betts, in terms of, because you could always look at numbers and say Audie Crooks, or you say Hannah Hidalgo, but I don't think they would get the credit because their team isn't winning as much. I do wish somebody like a Maggie Dugan or Brooklyn Meyer was able to get the love that they deserve to be in a situation like this or be in a contention like this. I think they're in player watch lists or semifinals watch lists and things like that, but it'll be hard for them to get national, was it WBCA, like All-American, because they're not on national TV as much as these other players are. Like, they get the opportunity to play against the other top teams and make a statement week in, week out. So it's harder for those players. If I had to say what I think the All-Americans would be, I would go Olivia Miles, Azzi Fudd, Michaela Blakes, Sarah Strong, Lauren Betts. But if it's only positional, I would have to look that up and see if it's only positional. If it's only positional, the choice between Azzi Fudd and Michaela Blakes would be super tough, because I would assume Michaela Blakes is looked at as a 2, Olivia Miles looked at as a 1, Azzi Fudd looked at as a 2, Madison Booker's looked at as a 3, Sarah Strong a 4, and then Lauren Betts a 5. For Lauren Betts, it would be like really like Audie Crooks, really, are like maybe a Grace Van Sluten, are like the only like centers that are like in like real competition for her, at least. When you look at Sarah Strong, you have like Joyce Edwards, Maggie Dugan. Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good about those being it. And then my national championship pick, I feel phenomenal about this one as well. I don't think I'm going to change it. I think it's going to stay the same. I have the W next to UCLA because that was me saying that I think UCLA wins. I'm not going to say whether I still think UCLA wins or not, but I still think that is the national championship game. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. I'm not going to, chop your head off or anything like that. Wow. Why was that where I went with that? Okay. Not going to chew your head off. That's what I really meant to say. I don't know why I said chop, but that's neither here nor there. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys for watching. Come back for the next one.